All right. Good evening, everyone. Interesting. 10 people already in class. This is good, though. So, who came to class first? I'm seeing 10 people at once in class already, so I'm not sure I know who came first. How will I know? This is a serious matter. I think we'll be sorting that out later. But let me just thank you for coming to class this evening. Thank you very much. And so we kick off class since we already have a substantial number of us already in class. All right. Okay, I'm going to share my screen very shortly. Last time we stopped at HTML links bookmark, the links bookmark, that's where we stopped. So this evening, we're going to continue from HTML images, from the images chapter. So we're going to continue this evening. So I would like to ask us to still pay attention, just like we've always done. Please confirm that you can hear me and audibly. Just put that in the chat window so that I know that you can hear me clearly and audibly. Thank you for your confirmation. Thank you for that confirmation. Okay, so this evening we'll be talking about images. We've been, manipulating images in some of the chapters that have been taken in previous classes, and I don't think images should be new to us. And you should be able to write out the HTML code to display an image on your web page by now. So can somebody type in the chat window the tag, the HTML tag that is being used to display image? Type it in the chat window, which HTML tag is being used to display image. Who is going to give me that answer? The HTML tag that is used to display an image on the web page. Anyone? Which HTML tag is used to display image? Now, Esther, that is wrong. That's correct. Which HTML tag is used to display image? Which HTML element or tag is used to display image? Yes, the IMG, yes, that's correct, IMG. Okay. So when I talk about tag, I'm talking about the either the start tag or the ending tag. An element consists of both the start and end tag, including the content. Okay, so let's look at images today and see where it takes us. So images can improve the design and the appearance of a web page, and the syntax for images. Well, like I've asked us now, the IMG tag is used to embed an image in a web page. So images are not technically inserted into the web page. Please understand this. Images are not technically inserted into the web page. Images are linked to the web page. The IMG tag creates an holding space for the referenced image. So what that is saying is that it's not as if you are taking the image away from where it was to place inside your web page. What you're doing is that you are creating a link or a reference, to that image so that it appears somewhere on your web page. The image still is in its location. So, and what that means is, I told us that you can display an image from another website on your own website once you have the link to that image. So when you are displaying it on your own website, it doesn't mean that the image is inside your website. As in, it doesn't mean that the image file actually resides in that web page. It only means that you have linked the image to that particular space that you have created using this IMG tag on your own web page. I hope that makes sense. So the IMG tag is empty. It contains attributes only and does not have a closing tag. The IMG tag has two required attributes: the source, which specifies the path to the image, and the alt, which specifies an alternate text for the image. The alt is optional. And why do I say it's optional? If you don't put it there, you will still see your image. Now, why we said it is a required attribute is that when you are developing a website, a good web design practice is that you should use your alt attributes, just in case your website is not loading the image properly, or is unable to load that image. So take, for example, if the image file has been moved away from the location that you have it before while you are creating your website, then that image is no longer available to be displayed on your website. So instead of having just a blank space with nobody knowing what is there, what's supposed to be there, you have the alternate text showing. And the alternate text we always encourage that it should be as descriptive as possible. So if you have the image of a landscape, for example, so you should be able to put it as landscape image, something like that, or the name or the location of that landscape. If you know the location, you can just put it there. Why that is important, or why that is helpful, is that if you then need to do something like replacing that image, you know what kind of image is there, even without reading the description or the text or the content of that web page. You understand? So you already know that the kind of image that is there supposed to be a landscape image, or an image of a stadium, or image of a man laughing or something. So your alternate text should be as descriptive as possible to help you to know what you have placed there initially. All right. So let's go on. Okay. Please remember to use the right name on your Zoom. And I'm sure by 8:15, the attendance form will already be available for you in the classroom. So let's move on. So if you look at this code below, we are familiar with this already: the IMG, then the SRC, which I say is the source, and then the URL, the path where the image is residing. The original location of that image is what is expected to go here. Then we have our alt attributes, and then the alternate text. Now we've seen the alternate text in action, so it's not new to some of us here. So, but let's continue. So the source attributes, that's what we're talking about now. The required source attributes specifies the path or URL to the image. When a web page loads, it is the browser at that moment that gets the image from the web server and inserts it into the web page. Therefore, that the image actually stays in the same spot in relation to the web page. Otherwise, your visitors will get a broken link icon. The broken link icon and the alt text are shown if the browser cannot find the image. I hope you understand that. I think I've explained that previously, that the alternate text, what it does is it shows up when your image is unable to be displayed. And what can cause that is when the image has been moved away from its location, or the image file has been renamed. So you must always be sure that the source link that you are putting here, or the name of the image file that you're putting here, is correct. It's corresponding to the actual image that you're trying to display on your web page. That's very important. Otherwise, you won't find any image displaying. So there are a couple of reasons why image may not display. Some of us have been experiencing something like saying that for security reasons, something is not able to display or load or something. There may be a security feature on your system, or if a security function that has been switched on that says that some certain images should not be displayed on a web page or something. Some of you might have seen in your email sometimes that you're trying to display, you're trying to load a message. The message contains an image, but the image is not showing until you tap on a particular link or a button saying that you should download the image before you then see the image. You might have also gone to a website where the image is supposed to be showing, but there's no image there. You can't see any image. And you just don't know what the image is for if the alt text is not being specified. You won't know what kind of image is supposed to be there. So if you're browsing, as you see these things, just going to identify them one after the other. Okay, I said I was going to show us something about bookmark. Some of us might have seen on some website where you're scrolling and there's a particular icon somewhere around the bottom on the right side most of the time, pointing up or saying top. And when you click on the icon, it just takes you back to the beginning of the web page. That is being achieved by link bookmark that we talked about in the last class. So in case, so let me just I know we tested it last time, and something like that is what we're going to see here. Now, on this website, now, if you, as I'm scrolling, you can see that something appeared here. Just pay attention. I'm going back up again. With my link. Okay, can we all still hear me properly? I hope you can hear me properly. It seems to be active. Okay. So I was saying that if we scroll up now, just pay attention to this side of the screen of this page here. Okay. So I'm going to scroll up and you see something that appears top. Can you see that? So you can see this top button that just appeared here. So if I click on it, it's going to take me back to the beginning of this web page. Voila, can you see that? So that is a link bookmark. That's what it does. Okay, so there's a particular function, a particular text here, somewhere around here, that is having the ID that this link, the link bookmark is, pointing to and ensuring that is jumping there. Okay. So let's go back to what we're doing today. Okay, I hope we can still hear me properly. Okay, so let's move on. So the alt attribute provides an alternate text for an image if the user for some reason cannot view it because of slow network or an error in the source attributes, or if the user uses a screen reader. The value of the alt attribute should describe the image, as where I said, be as descriptive as possible. Be as descriptive as possible. So looking at this particular code below here, we can see our tag, our source attributes, img chania.jpg, the alt saying what? Flowers in Chania. Flowers in Chania. So if at all this image gets renamed or missing, if you're trying to debug the issue on the website, you already know that what is there or what was there is flowers in Chania. So you can use that to check for an image or another image that shows flowers in Chania. Sorry. So you can then use that to replace. So that still sends the right message to your audience or to whoever that is a visitor to your websites. If a browser cannot find an image, it will display the value of the alt attribute. So image size, we've been playing around with this as well. That's the width and the height. You can use the style attributes to specify the width and the height of an image. Pay attention to the example below. So we've been doing this, so I'm not going to ask us to try to do it again. We've been doing this. Many of us have, we've mastered this already. So it's not something that is new to us. We already mastered this. So you can use the style attribute. The style attribute to specify the size of the image. That's the width and the height of the image. Give me a minute, please. I'm just trying to just respond to something here. Okay, so these are style attributes. Here we specify the width, 500 pixel, and the height, 600 pixel. Now, your height and width can be specified in percentage, okay? Not just in pixel. It's either in percentage or in pixel. And when we're saying percentage, the percentage is calculated based on the size of the screen. Based on the size of the screen the image is displaying on. So that may be an issue for some devices. So it is always good to specify, it is much more safer, let me put it that way, to specify it in pixels and not in percentage. So take note of that, everyone. If you have questions, again, do not hesitate to put it in the chat window. Please don't hesitate to put it in the chat window. All right, so let's move on. So alternatively, you can use the width and height attributes as well. So if you don't want to use the style attribute, like it's done here, right here, okay, you can just straightforward take away the style attribute and just use the width and height attribute, like we can see here. So we have the width and we have the height attributes. Okay, so our IMG tag, or the image tag, has an attribute called width and height. All right, so the width and height attributes always define the width and the height of the image in pixel, okay, in pixels. So let's move on. Alternatively, you can use the width and height attributes. Okay, I think we've seen this. I think I duplicated this also. So the width and height attributes always define the width and height. Note, always specify the width and height attributes of an image. If the width and height are not specified, web page might flicker while the image loads. So it's always good. It's always a good practice, a professional practice, to always specify the width and the height of your image that you are displaying. You know, when you specify the width and the height of the image you're displaying, you're in control of how big or small that image appears on your web page. So it's a good practice to always specify that. All right. Always specify your alt your alt text. Okay. Specify the width and the height of your image as well. That makes you a professional web designer. Okay. So width and height or style. The width, height, and style attributes are all valid in HTML. However, we suggest using the style attributes. It prevents style sheets from changing the style of images. I will see why it is better to use style attributes. You can go ahead and use the width and height attributes, but it is good to use style attributes so that style sheets, the CSS code you might have written, will not be overwriting that width and height of your image. While we were treating CSS, remember we said that the inline CSS is the one that takes precedence over every other one, be it the internal one or the external one. The inline CSS is the one that your web page will display at any time. We take precedence over the other ones. All right. So let's take note of that. So looking at this code, again, I'm not going to be saying we should write any code right now, because I think we've been writing codes of images for a while now. But however, if you feel you still want to write it after the class and you get the slide, you can go ahead and try this. I'm going to explain this code to us very shortly. I think I have a question here. Please, once again, read that to be able to, okay. Okay, I once read that to be able to, yes, it's, let me put it this way. Now, Bidemi is saying that, please, I once read that to be able, okay, when you are creating a mobile, when you're creating for mobile, use of percentages instead of pixel is much more friendly, right? That's when you're creating a mobile and desktop friendly website. Now, that was when the concept of what we call responsive website wasn't popular then. Right now, the way responsive websites, I'll explain what responsive means to us. I think I explained it before, but I'll try and recap. The way responsive websites are created is you already have image size for desktop view of your website. Then there's also image size of tablet view. There is now also image size of mobile device view, as in your phone view. You understand? What I'm saying is, while you are creating your website, you create like, there's a way the CSS works that you can identify if it's a desktop device, maybe it's a laptop like this, or if it's a tablet that you're using, or if it's a mobile phone that you are using, it identifies, and you must specify the sizes for each of those kind of device. In your code, you specify it. So when you are using percentages, I don't think, for me personally, I'm not sure there's need to use percentages, however. But if you're using percentages, it's okay. But I'm saying that if you're not designing your website in a responsive way, and somebody is viewing your website on a device that is either bigger or smaller, it may affect it. Because if you put an image for 50%, for example, screen at 50%, it means it's taking half of the size of the screen. So if the screen is going smaller, the image continues to grow smaller, and smaller like that. And that may cause problem in future. But the way responsive websites are designed today, whether you're using pixel or using percentages, your website knows what to display. We call it responsive. If it's on a desktop, there's a size of image it will display. If it's on tablet, it knows what image to display, what size of image to display. And if it's on mobile, it knows what image size to display. So let me just, I think I showed us something before. I showed us something the other day when I was, okay, let's use CNN website as an example. For an example, let's use CNN website. Remember, this screen is already small than the entire desktop that I have. So let's mimic that this is a phone that is viewing this website. And let's see what will happen. You see that the website adjusted and some things have disappeared here. Let me expand it again. And then we have some things appearing here. Let me take it back. Do you see how this particular image is being resized? Can you see that? So this is what we call responsive website. It's responding to the size of the screen that is displayed on. So all those things that were at the top here, all these menu or tabs at the top here, they've now been shifted under this guy. I think so. So you have them here. All right, then you can close this. So that's what I mean by responsive websites. I believe this your question has made me talk for about how many minutes now. All right, how we can proceed. I hope I've answered your question. I've explained well to you. Okay, so this particular code that we're looking at here, we have our style here already, our style tag already displayed there, okay, right here. And we have an image. We are saying that all images should take the width of 100%. So as you can see here, percentage is used, all right? So you use 100% because you want the image to fill the entire screen. You understand? You don't want to care about what's the size of the screen. You don't want to care about it, so you just go ahead and use 100% here. So which means it takes the entire width of the screen from the left to the right all the way. Okay, and that's good if that's what you want to do. You want to take the entire width of the screen, and then you go ahead and do that. So then you have the head, body, and then the source, the image tag here, and the source HTML5.gif, then the auth. Already showing us here there is an HTML icon that is to be displayed there. The width 128 and the height 128. And we have an image here as well with the source, same file, and then the auth. And this is also, this is where we used normal, what's it called now? Attributes here. Okay, I think we should write this code actually. But while you get an image into your folder, create a new folder called day 7. I think I have created that on my own end already. So I already have a folder called 7. And check this out. So let's just type out this code. So let's code. Remember, your style is embedded inside your head tag, your head element. That you put your style element. Okay, so we have img. img there saying that all image tags that exist on that web page, no matter what image they have, this CSS will be applied on them all. Okay, so always you end your CSS with a semicolon. Don't make that mistake of not ending it with it. All right, so I come down here and I impute my img elements, src for the source. And the image I have in my own folder is called, I'll use this IWNG. Should I use that one? No. So the image I have is, I'm going to use this workplace.jpg. So I'll use workplace.jpg. So it's appearing here already for me. It's appearing here for me already. Then I have my alt text here. I can simply say workplace photo, right? That's my alt text. So I can continue with the width here. This is the first one. The width is specified with the width attributes. So I can say, remember, it doesn't have to be the same width that you're seeing on the screen. You can put your own width there if you want. I'll use 400 as the width here. And then the height, I'll use 250 as the height. And I'll close my image tag. What am I doing? Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to duplicate this image tag, image elements here. I'll bring it down here and I'll paste it back. However, this time around, I'm going to add my style attributes and edit this width and to match my style attributes. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to just delete this. Let me just delete this. So now in my style attributes, I put my width. I said the width is 400 pixel. And the height is 250 pixel. So what we are trying to tell you here, we already know that in the image, in the style element here, the width of our image is 100. Okay, but we've come here, the first image here, we specified a width of 128 and the height of 128. However, we came back and we came down here also to specify, and using the style attribute now, to specify width of 128 and the height of 128. So if you run the code, what I expect is that this first image, we follow this specification of this of 100%. So we are going to test that now. While the second image will maintain the 128 by 128. So what is saying that this particular image will be stretched to maintain width, and while this one will maintain the 400 by 250 pixel width. So I'm going to view this in the browser now. I hope that works. So voila, this is the first image. This is the second image. All right. So what has happened is that the advantage of using style here is that it will override whatever you have in the style element edit tab here. However, if you follow this route, what is here, you override whatever you put here. That's what we just tested, right? So, so let me give you just like 2 minutes to try it on your side, but that's what we have tested here. If you're doing it, you have 2 minutes to quickly do it. Okay, so well done, you're done. Who else is done? Who else is done? I just need one more person to be done, so we move on. Anyone else? By 8:33, I'll continue. Okay, James is done, so we can move on. Well done, James, and well done, Busola. So let's move on. Others, you have this slide, so you can try it on your own. So images in another folder. If you have your images in a subfolder, you must include the folder name in the source attributes. This is simple. We've been doing this. Let me even see if I can find one of the things we did. We used, not this one. So we've been doing this for a while now, where it showed us when you have an image in another folder, located in another folder. So I think, we do it up here. No. Yeah. So something like this is what we're talking about. This is how you specify an image in another folder. This banner.png, it resides inside the images folder here under this D2 that we're looking at. So this is how you specify it. You must have the image, the folder name first, slash the banner name. As you can see here, they are putting the slash before the images. So sometimes depending on the browser you're using, some browsers follow this, while some may follow this. Right? I think if you put it this way, it should work. But the safest way, I think, is to add a dot and then this to it. But I think this way will work for most of popular browsers that we have. Chrome, Edge, Mozilla, we've tested that and it's been working with that. So when you have image in a subfolder, please always specify the name of that subfolder before the name of the image itself, before the name of the image file itself. Okay. And usually that is what the practice is going to be, because when you start creating a full website, you want to have certain things in certain folders. For example, your CSS may have to be in a particular folder. Images will have to be in a particular folder. There's possibility that you will have sub pages, HTML pages in subfolders as well. You know, as you develop your website, the only image that may be, the only file which is an HTML file, which will be at the root folder, is usually the index.html, which displays the home page of your website anyway. So from there, you can then lead to other things. Please, if we have questions, don't hesitate to ask me the question using the chat window, or you raise your hand, then I'll be able to unmute you. So images on another server or website. Some websites point to an image on another server. To point to an image on another server, you must specify the absolute, that is the full URL in the source attributes. Remember, we talked about absolute and relative URL. So for this, if you are displaying, for example, you have your own website, your website is abc.com, okay? But you have an image that resides on someone else's website, maybe like xyz.com. So what you need to do is to specify the full part. You already know the link that leads to that particular image, the link that displays that particular image. So you copy that link. It's going to have something like this: https://www. So on and so forth. That's what the link is going to look like. Copy that link, everything, and then you paste it here in your source. So that will be the value of your source attribute here. All right. Then you include your alt text as well. So when you are specifying what this is doing, when you want to make use of an image that resides in another website, please use the full URL, which is also known as absolute URL. Otherwise, your image may not display. Okay. External image might be under copyrights coverage. So if you do not get permission to use it, it may be a violation of copyright laws. In addition, you cannot control external image. They can suddenly be removed. So to save yourself, just try and use an image that belongs to you and also resides within your own website. That's much more safer. Animated image. HTML allows for animated GIFs. Okay, an example. So to try this now, if you can go to Google and just type in animated GIFs. All right, let's download some animated GIFs. Let's check from this website, see what we can get from there. So let's download 1 or 2 animated GIFs and then use it to do our tests. So these are some of them. Let's try this guy. So save image as, I'm going to put it under my day7 folder. No, I don't want this. Let me open it up so I can download it in the right file format. Let's see. Now, where is the download button? Let's check another website. You can see the download button here. Let's see this one. These animated GIFs, why are they not dancing? Okay, let's see if this works. So let's just download this. I hope it's a GIF image anyway. So you can also search from your end, download for yourself. I'll see if I can share this one I'm downloading anyway. Let's open. No, this is not what I'm looking for. These are Photoshop files. Okay, let me just go through Google Images. That's the best thing that I can do here. GIF animation. Let's look at. All right, found one, finally. Let's just say type in. So you can rename yours. Just give it a simple name. That is downloaded. So let me see, can I share this with you guys? Let me see if I can share this with you guys. No, it's not cracked version. I have a license. James, I have a license for my idea. It's not correct fraction. Okay, so where's this place now? File. So I want to send a file to you guys now. I'm going to send that GIF image to you guys so I can download it and then use it at your hand too. Just 7. There you go. I'll give you this as well. Wow, transfer of GIF is restricted by the admin. Okay. Okay. What do I do? How do I do it now? Okay. Let me give you the link. Copy link address. So you can just click on this link. It should take you to where you download the GIF to save. So it should take you to where you download this GIF file. I think I'm trying it on my end. Yeah, so you just right click and save image as. Copy image address. Let me see if that will come out. So you can use the second link, the last link I sent. So for example, now I've copied the image address here. The value. No, it's not a must to download mine. No. I'm just sending it to you in case you want to use the same image that I'm using. So I've copied the image link. Let me just save it somewhere because I have to use it for that GIF file. So that's the absolute link for that GIF file. So here we want to play around GIF file. So the same file you created just now, this particular file. So let's create another image tag to display the GIF file itself. Okay, so you can do that at your end as well as I'm doing mine. Let's go ahead and do yours. src, that's the source. Okay, and then you specify the name of the GIF file. I named it as typing, I think so, right? Typing.gif. I think that's the name I gave it. Let me see if it is here already. Yeah, this is it here. Typing.gif. So I can go ahead and specify my alt text. Just say someone typing on a computer. Okay. Then I can specify the style width. My width is, I use 120. So the size is up to you. Whatever size you want to use is up to you. See, you can see the height. Oh God. I can say the height is maybe 200 pixels. Okay, then you close the image tag or the image element. So let's see what is going to show for us. You save your work, always save it and show in browser. Okay, my image isn't showing. I suspected that this is going to happen anyway. See, my image is not showing, but my text, my alt text is showing here. Tell me what's supposed to be there. Okay. I think there's a problem with, yeah, image is not showing. So let's troubleshoot this now. Let's see why the image isn't showing. So I have image as typing. I don't know why it's not seeing it here. GIF. Ordinarily, it's supposed to see it, follow link. Okay. So this is it now. So just keep typing at your end and try make yours to work. I'm having issues with mine. Oh, that things I just did now. Oh, sorry. I was typing this somewhere else. It's not where I want to type this. No wonder. I'm supposed to be typing it in here. So please, you type in the right place for yourself, please. So let me save this. So my image is going to display now. Here is the image. I don't like the size, so let me manipulate the size. Height 200, width is 120. No. So let me put a width for 350. 50 pixels, and then I'll save it. I can come here and then reload. My image is appearing much better now. All right, so that's how you embed animated GIF. So, but I want to show you the absolute URL stuff. Remember, I have copied the absolute URL for this particular GIF that I have here. And this is it here. This is the link to that image, where the image resides on that website. So I want to display the image from that website on my own, the same GIF. So I'm going to change the value of this SRC to become the entire link, for the image, where the image exists on the website. So I'm going to save this. So you've seen two of those images. Let me have a question here. It was all well done. Just to show you. Well done. So I'm just going to refresh, reloading this. Where's my image? Yeah. Now, do we see something? I don't know if we saw it, that this second image took some time to display in comparison with this one. And that's what can happen if the website that image is residing is slow. That's how slow the image will display. Okay. Look at it. So, but at first, it will be very slow. So what is happening here? Why you are seeing it displaying on a normal way is because Google Chrome do have what we call caching of the website. Okay, so I hope we have done that, and ours is showing properly. So well done, everyone. So we're going to move forward. Image as a link. I think we also did this where we use our A tag to wrap around an image and make the image to become a link. We made the image become a link. So, but let's try that again today. Take note of this example. All right, so we're going to make it to a link leading to somewhere else. So let me whip up my code window. So I'm still going to use this page and the same image. Okay. Let me just copy this. No, let me copy. Yeah, let me copy that way. I'm putting it inside the paragraph elements because I want it to appear in another line. That's why I'm putting it into the paragraph elements here. So I'm going to copy this now. Please just follow as I go through. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create my A tag and then href for my href attributes for my A tag. And I want to lead to, say, CNN, sorry, https www.cnn.com. Okay, and I can close this, come down here. Now, you can see that there's a start tag here for my anchor tag or my A tag, and this is the end tag. So in between it is where I'm going to put my image. So I have wrapped my image with a link tag or an anchor tag. So I would like this to open in another tab. So it will be underscore blank. Okay. I hope we are following and you're trying to do the same at your end. So I'm going to save this now. And here's my page. I'll reload it. I should have another image here. Now, this last image, look at the first image. When I mouse over it, my mouse remains the same arrow. When I mouse over the second one, the same thing. But when I mouse over this new one I just created, you can see it has turned to the end. Once I click on it, it takes me to the website I must have specified in there. All right. So that's how you turn an image into a link. That's how you turn an image into a link. I hope we understand. If you have any question, please chat window or you raise a hand and you'll be able to ask your question. Thank you, Esther. So if you have done yours, please just put it in the chat window that it's done so that we can proceed. I just need just 2 people so that we can move as fast as possible. Just 2 people so that we can move as fast as possible. Are you done with yours? Anyone? As you are writing this code, always remember, now this href, don't put it as this one. Just type in maybe a CNN or YouTube or google.com, something right there. Also remember that the name of this image must be the same as the one you have. You ensure that you use the name of the image you have inside your own folder, your own system. Are you guys hearing me? Are you with me? Like nobody's doing anything. Okay, so I'm just going to move on, all right, so that we don't waste our time. Floating image or image floating. Use the CSS float property to let an image to float to the right or to the left. Okay, thank you, James. To the right or to the left. So for me to do this, let me see. I'm going to create a new, let me create a new file. So inside my day7, I'm creating a new file. I'll call it float.html. Can do the same at your end as well. So let's create our HTML structure. As usual, HTML, our head tag. After the head tag, we have our body. So in our body tag, what we want to do right here. Now, when we say float, everybody just listen to me carefully. When we say float, here they said can let the image float to the right or to the left. So what they are saying is that you can let the image to go to the right or to the left. So on your web page, by default, your image will be aligned to be showing on the right, on the left side of the screen. So you can, and this is different from alignment, please. You can float the image to the right side of the screen. You can float it to the right side of the screen. So we are going to test something now. And we're going to see how it works. So I'm going to, then I'll use it to explain to you properly. Okay. So let's type out this code that we have here. So I'm just going to copy it. I know you will be typing, but I'm just going to copy it. I paste it here. You can type on at your hand. Just make sure you're typing. I'm going to use the IWD. PNG. Okay, so I'm going to run this first for us to see what it looks like. So now you can see where my image is here. Look at where my text is. Let me bring it closer. Image is floating right. My text is to the left. However, both of them are inside the paragraph, the same paragraph element. So what this does, the floating, and this float attributes, where is it now? The float attributes or the float value or the float property only to images. It applies to any element at all, whether image, paragraph, whatever element it is, it applies to it. So what it does, it will, when you make the value to be right, it will take the image or the element it on and float it towards the right, while every other thing is going to be on its left. Okay? If the value of this float property is left, it will float it towards the left, it take it to the left, while every other thing moves to the right. So on the second example that we see here on our screen on the slide, we can see that it's floating to the left. So I'm going to just duplicate this code here and then change the value of that property to left. We'll now see that also in action. So I'm going to change the float property here left. Okay, so I'll save it. All right, and I'll down view it in the browser. So you can see this is the first one, it's floating to the right. This is the second one, the image is now on the left. Image is now on the left. Float property helps you to control the layout of elements on your web page. That's what you use to control that. So let me just give you an example. It's not like that's what they used, but let me just give you an example. Where is their website now? Let me look for, or that close it. Let me just use this website as an example, just to explain to you what we mean. Now, see where icon is, the company logo is, and every other thing is on the side. Your float can help you achieve something like this. Putting the company logo to the left and that thing on the right. Float property CSS can help us achieve that as well. So I don't know if you've been able to take down this code. It should be in your slide anyway. So I'll be sending you the files after the class. If you have taken it down, if you have written it, just say yes, or you're done. Thank you, Busola, or you're done on your own end. Because I always like you to code while we are doing this. Okay, Ellen, It appears you want to ask a question, so I'm going to unmute you. Where is she? Okay. Ellen, you can go ahead. You can unmute yourself and go ahead now. Okay, I'm not sure she wants to ask a question. She's dropped out. Okay, let's continue. Well done, Esther. Well done to Esther I have here. Well done, guys. All right. Now, common image. Here are some common image formats and types that exist and that are supported in most of these browsers that we have. We have the APNG, GIF, CON, JPEG, PNG, SVG. These are the common image types that we use on web pages. And this is a chapter summary. One thing to note, loading large images and can slow down the page. So use images carefully. When you are loading images on your website, ensure that their sizes are not large. Otherwise, if the sizes are large, it's going to slow down the loading because the system, whoever is using that system, that it has a very good bandwidth. The system may be slow and the image will load very slowly. Both tag, can we float both tag width to be 50% each? I'm trying to understand this question. Let me go back to the code. I don't know if you can rephrase your question, Emmanuel. Not sure I get it well. Maybe what you are asking is, if you have two elements and you give them a width of 50% each, can you float them to show side by side? I don't know if that's what you're saying. Yes, it's possible. You can do that if that's exactly what you're saying. That's what I understand is your question. So we move forward. Remember, let your images not be too large. Otherwise, you slow down your web page. Okay, background images. Background images. We must have seen websites that are background images, across the internet. And that's what we're going to check how that's being achieved. Okay, we're going to see that now in action. A background image can be specified for almost any HTML element. Image to an HTML element, use the HTML style attribute and the CSS background image property. So there's a CSS background image property that you can use to add background images to any HTML element at all. So if you look at this particular code that we have here, it's going to apply, it's going to use this image here as a background for this paragraph element. So what we're going to do, we're going to test that now and see how that works. You can continue using this file so that you don't have to go and be creating a new file, because that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to create a new paragraph element. Let me take this up a bit so we can see. So a new paragraph element is here, and we are styling it. Background image, you can see the property there. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Then after that, what you are specifying is then the URL. and open your brackets. Then you put in the image there. I'm going to put in, let me use IWD image. All right, so that's how you specify background image in a nutshell. So you can bring in whatever text you want to put. Let me bring in this text also. Copy. So in order for me to really show you the effect of background image, let me add the line break tag here. So I create them in different lines. Okay. So before we go forward, I just want us to run this and see what it's looking like. Okay. So you can see the entire, okay, I want to do something so you can see what I'm saying very well. So I'm going to duplicate all this again. Okay, so I have created a number of these lines already. So let me save it. I can go back here and then refresh my page. So you can see that the image is becoming it has been used as the background of this paragraph. That image has been used as the background of the paragraph. I can change this image. Let me change it to the GIF file. That's typing. I can use whatever kind of image to achieve what I want to achieve. If I click reload, you can see that. So that image has become the background for that paragraph. So that's how you can use this background image property to specify an image for any element at all. So you can also specify the background image in the style elements in the head section if you want. Okay. So this is an example. If you are specifying it in the head section, this is an example of how the code will be, the CSS code will be. All right. So background image on a page. If you want the entire page to have a background image, you must specify the background image on the body element. What we have done here, we have specified on the paragraph elements. But if you want the entire page to have that background image, then you have to specify it on the body elements. So I'm going to just copy this style oh God, I'm going to have to turn this thing off one day. Yeah, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to cut it out rather. Okay. Then I'll go to my body. I can put it in here, or I create a style sheet in the head section, but I can do this and I'll save. Then I'll come back to my page, right click and reload. The entire page is now having that background, okay, of that image. You can see the image here, different. All right. So that's covered the entire page. You can still do it in the style in the head section as well if you want, depending on the way you want to program. Okay, and put your style element here and then put in the, so let's just do that. So style, then we'll put in CSS code. Let me just copy this so I don't have to type too much. So our P is what we are looking at, or it's body that we are looking at body. I thought I've forgotten that we've moved away from P. So the body element is what we are applying this to. Yep. Then we can put in this. right? So I can take this out here since I have it already in the edit tag. So let's see what happens here. I click and I reload. So it's still the same thing. All right. All right. So have you done that at your end? If you haven't, you have a minute to quickly do that. Sola, well done. Thank you for following. So let me just wait for one more person to do the same very quickly. Put it in the edit section, or you put it as using this, or you use the style attributes. Okay, that's well done. Okay, so let's move forward. Again, you will have this file after this class and the slide as well, so you can practice. Now, what we have done is appearing like this. If the background image is smaller than the element, the image will repeat itself horizontally and vertically until it reaches the end of the element. Now, what are they saying? You can see like this particular image you're looking at here has been duplicated, repeating itself, okay? And that may not be good for your website. So here also we can see the repeats of this one as well, okay? That may not be good for a good or professional website. What is the solution to that? And this is the solution that we are going to be looking at. Background repeats, all right, which we've seen. There's an attribute that says no repeat. So to avoid the background image from repeating itself, set the background repeat property to no repeats. So what you do, you have to add this line of code to your CSS. So I'm going to do that now for mine. So I'll come down and say background, there's a background repeat property, which is this one here. And then you set it to no repeat. File. Go back to our web page. Let's see what develops. Right click and reload. See? No repeats. So if you just take the image as it is, the size, exact size of the image, and put it there for you. Okay? You put it there for you like that. So what that means is that you must have a big or a large image to use on backgrounds. You must have a large image to use on your body background if you have to do that. So if I have to correct that now, I have to go back and either change the dimension of the image and use it, and then use it again to cover the entire page. But you can play around that on your own at your leisure time. Okay, so just add this line of code to it so that it won't, so that the background will not repeat itself. Okay. So background cover. If you want can't you set the height of the image? Just let's move on. Don't worry, your question will be answered. I'll answer your question, but let's just move on. Now, background color, if you want the image to cover the entire element, you can set the background size property to cover. Okay, I believe this answers your question. You can set the background size property to cover. Also, make sure that the entire element is always covered. Is always covered. Set the background attachment property to fixed. To make sure that the entire element is always covered, you set the background attachment property to fixed. So let's see that now. So these are some of the things you have to add to your code. Let's see what that gives us. So background attachment, fixed. Oh, sorry. It's fixed. And background size, we cover, right? So let's see what that gives us in our browser. So you can see the background has now covered the page. I believe this answered your question, James. I think it answered the question. You will not, you can't set height or width for the background you are trying to use, because the image is not like you are using an image tag here. You're not using an image tag. Okay, so you won't be able to set the height or width for it. So I want everybody to put this in their code now. You have 2 minutes to quickly do that. Just put all this in your code and then view it in the browser and let me know if it appears well, if it runs well. You have 2 to 3 minutes to quickly do that. And I'll be right back. Once you're done, please just type it in chat window and say done. Done, 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 done. If you have an issue, put it there as well if you have an issue. I'll be right back. Oh, Esther, well done. Esther is done. Who else is done? Please just put it in the chat window for me that you're done. Usola, done. Well done. One more person, please. One more person. Any other person? Okay, there's no other person. I guess we'll move forward. So let's move on. Background stretch. If you want the background image to stretch to fit the entire element, you can set the background size property to 100%. Try resizing the browser window and you will see that the image will stretch, but always cover the entire element. So for those of us who have done, we can just edit our code. All right. So, but to edit it, just do this. Do what I'm doing. Just see what I'm doing. Don't take this out. I don't want you to take this out. So it out. Let's comment it. Let's turn it into a comment. Let's comment it out. And the way to do that in CSS is slash, and then asterisk. And then you close it back, asterisk and slash. Right. So you can just copy this and right underneath, paste, and then this size, the cover, make it to become 100% space and 100%. And then you can save your work. So don't go ahead and don't delete this, just comment it out. This is the way you comment things in CSS. It's different from the way you comment in HTML code. This is CSS style of commenting. So let's refresh this page. So we can see that the image is stretched. It is stretched. So we can reduce this. If you always maintain, you can see that cover is different from stretched image. So let's try something again. I'm going to comment this one out again. And then uncomment this one. I want to see how they behave. I want us to see how they behave. Different screen sizes, or when you stretch the screen. One, when you say cover, it's just there, it's covering at all. It's being stretched, it's being cut, it's cutting it. Okay. And when you reduce it, it tries to adjust itself. So you can see what's going on here. It's just trying to ensure that it covers the page, in the right size. Right? So whichever one that fits your purpose is what you should use. Okay? That's what you should use. So let's move on. I hope you understand. Please, if you have questions, put it in the chat window. Chapter 19. We are going to continue chapter 19 tomorrow. I don't want to bombard us too much. Should I take chapter 19? Let me see. So I finish the slide of this one. Okay, let's just go ahead and do chapter 19 for tonight. Okay. Yes, there's no class tomorrow. Sorry, I'm on Thursday. No class tomorrow. I'm talking about it. So let me just quickly introduce us to this chapter 19. We'll continue with it at our next class. So chapter 19 talks about favicon. Okay. And let me show you what favicon is. Maybe some of us have an idea of what it is. Now, on this page, okay, I'm going to close every other thing I have here, except for this guy here. Now, everybody, look here, look here, look here, look up, look up. Favicon. When you hear favicon, this is what it's talking about. You can see this CNN here. That is what favicon is talking about. Let me open another site now. On your own website, let me rerun. Let me run this code again. So you can see that on your website, it's just showing like a globe, okay? Like the Earth itself or the globe, all right? But it's not an icon like, okay? So if you don't specify a favicon in your website, this is what it will show, which means you don't have a favicon website. But if you have a favicon on your website, it's going to display that particular favicon that you have specified on your website. So this is CNN favicon. So that is what we are talking about when we talk about favicon. And that is where we would continue at our next class. So I just wanted to introduce it to you so that you know what to expect for the next class. There are many more things also that we're going to be doing at the next class as well. But today we have dealt with images and background images. Please make sure you revise. Go to materials, go through the. If there's any problem, you can reach me and we'll all see what develops. Class attendance. Google, please, if you have not, please go ahead, mark your class attendance. And I also hope you have not done it, please go ahead. Okay, please assignment. So between now and Thursday, I'm going to be grading the assignment done and not need to have grades for. Again, by the end of this month, we'll be yanking them off so that we know the amount of all that are really this program. Some people halfway. What I would advise you to all the Telegram posts that we've posted, all the posts that we've also posted on the Google Classroom, please go through them. The materials, the class recordings that of past classes, go through them and start practicing on your own as well. If you need my assistance, you can reach me. I'll be able to help you. I'll be happy to do that. All right. So thank you guys for. We'll continue again on Thursday, 8 p.m. by the grace of God, and the Lord shall lead us and keep us beyond that time in Jesus' name. So please, at your leisure time, please practice, 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 practice. That is what programming is about. You have to practice, create projects for yourself, do one thing or the other. Also, I'll be posting programming assignments tomorrow. You'll be getting your programming assignment tomorrow, coding assignment tomorrow, so you can try to also code some things on your own. Right? So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you again on Thursday. Between now and then, I pray that the Lord will bless you with wisdom and understanding of this course. I'll give you inspiration to do better in it in Jesus' name. It shall be well with you in all that you do in the name of Jesus. So see you again and keep developing something. So God bless you and good night. Bye-bye.